a lot of conversations recently, and interestingly, they're all with the same kind of women who are highly capable. They're pretty senior in their careers and very competent, very successful at what they do. And what they've been saying is that they feel exhausted. They're actually approaching that burnout marker. But the burnout, not in a way we think, like from doing too much or, having too many tasks on a list, but it's about something internal. It's about living a life that no longer fits, where they're still showing up. They're obviously still going to work, leading the meetings, doing everything that is expected of them. But internally, it's like the disengagement where it no longer fits, where the conversations kind of like just feel heavy. You don't understand why you even do what you do, what benefit are you adding, and responsibilities just feel draining. So it's like you're there, but mentally you're completely checked out. And when I asked them what is actually going on underneath that, the answer is, it was quite surprisingly almost the same. What they're reflecting to me is that they know something needs to change. And I'm not talking about the external change. They've tried it, but it's something inside, but they don't know what it is. And another thing that they said was quite interesting is that they are afraid. They're afraid of messing up the life that they have already built. Who would they be if they had to make changes? Like, that is a big fear. So they've been trying to fix it with the usual fixes, with the holidays, with their spa weekend, with retail therapy, thinking about it, reading more, trying to be positive, focusing on a positive, trying to be grateful, meditating, and on and on. And then for a moment, they have this like brief relief. But then as soon as they hit with the same reality, they're in the same environment, they're right back in the same place. And I know what that feels like because I've been repeating in my past that pattern for years. I did all the searching, the retreats, and I've spoken before about Dr. Joe Dispenza and how I even volunteered at his events and how much I've got so much love and respect for him, and all the other spiritual retreats, the breath work, all the practices. I meditated for like 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And in the moment, it gave me relief. It gave me also insights. It made me understand that's what I don't want, but it didn't really change me as a person. And I was still running the same patterns. I was still experiencing the same frustrations. I was just doing it with much more awareness. And sometimes that can be the hardest place to be, where you're so aware, but it's like, how do I actually change anything? And at some point, I have realized something important, that when you go through this, it's not about trying to do more or learn more or fix yourself. It's about shifting your identity, because what used to work doesn't work anymore, because you're not the same person who's been building this life. And this is the part we don't often talk about, that you can not move through the identity shift alone. It's just not possible. You're going to be spiraling and going in loops, reading more books, meditating more, journaling, contemplating, getting stuck in your head, and it's going to go on and on and on, because your environment still expects the old, the known version of you. And the people around you, even like with the best intentions, they don't know how to support you when you're going through this, because they haven't been through that themselves. So how can they support you? And what you're going through is not a crisis. It's not even a burnout. It's an awakening. It's the moment when you start realizing that you can't keep living the way you have been living. And once you know that, you just cannot unknow. It's just not possible to go back. So you can either meet this stage consciously, or if you don't, life will push you into change through pressure, disruption, exhaustion, through all different means. And again, I am speaking from experience. When a few years ago, I had a complete mental and emotional breakdown because I was refusing to listen to what was coming in me. And so, because it's so close to my heart, this entire journey and the work I do, I've partnered with Maria here, who has created many retreats and holidays and pilgrimages. And we created something very special, a really special container for the women who are going through this, who are resonating with this, who are done looking for escape and for a momentary relax, that where the deep down they know that they're meant for more, that there is something more, even if they can't put their finger on that. And this container, this retreat that we've organized, isn't just to give you that temporary fix, which we already know that don't work, but it's shifting your whole identity, recalibrating how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you move, because your identity is what actually shapes your decisions, your relationships, and directions your life takes. So if you're listening to this and something in you feels relief or some sort of hope or resonance with this, then this conversation is for you. And I just invite you to stay here and listen to what Maria is going to share about this retreat and what transformation, what changes you can expect in your life. Over to you, Maria.
Yes, thank you, Lena. And you have made quite a very good description of who this trip is for. So, this is a 10-day journey in Greece for women who Lena have exactly described earlier. You're capable, you're accomplished, but you're running on empty to figure out what's next. And so, even though you are trying to do your best to do that personal growth, career growth, professional development, you're still in that same environment. So that's why we have this container, you have this trip that we offer to you. So it's a 10-day retreat trip journey in Greece, wherein we will have you travel through the different islands in Greece as that particular environment where you can have that change, where you can have that, stepping out of something that's not quite your normal environment to help you feel that transformation that you needed for this kind of trip. We're doing this in June. We picked the month of June this year, mainly because we know that that's the mid-year and that's an important year for us to be able to have that intentional pause, to be able to reset. Again, if you are feeling that busyness from the first half of the year, you need to have this kind of reset. And so I just like to mention as well three things. So this is not just a regular trip to Greece. It is a journey with like-minded women, with a mentor like Lena, and with someone who's been in led women in this types of journey, particularly in Greece, to help you find that shift in identity that you may be looking for and you may be needed at that time, at that moment. And so, what happens then? I'd like to discuss like what happens. Three things after you have experienced this trip in Greece. First, there are some things that I've seen based on the women that I have led when we went to Greece last year. So first is because you are stepping into a different environment, not the same environment that you've been to, and then you have this to get that reset with a coach, with a mentor, with a group of like-minded women, you will be going home with one clear direction or next step. And so that could be a personal or career related decision that you've been wanting to do, but don't know when you should do it, why you should do it, depending on what you come through when you go with us in Greece, you have that clarity in mind because being in Greece, you're out of the noise, the pace is different, you're not in that constant demanding environment. So it will help you decide with clarity, not with the noise, not with the stress. And then when you have that clarity, something else shifts. You create that mental space that we all need. Because, from the trips that I'd led to Greece, I've seen how many people really appreciated the environment, the natural beauty of the island, the peace that you will get, the calmness that you will get once you get to that environment. It really helps set the tone for that mental space that you need to create that steadiness within ourselves. And with that steadiness, I think the third change is possible after you've experienced Greece. And that's the decision that finally I can act on this one. I can make this decision now because you may have some decision that you've been putting off before. It could be a conversation with someone that you needed to have a conversation. It could be setting boundaries or that change that you know that you needed to know that Lena mentioned earlier, but you don't know how to do it, when to do it, and you just don't have that guide and that particular support. And so we give you this particular space to pause, to have that clarity, to have the steadiness in mind, so that when you go home, you are clear, you know what to do, you're confident on what the next steps that you need to do. Also, this particular retreat is not just a regular vacation expense, it's actually an investment in your own growth, in finally getting unstuck. You don't even have to pay the full amount at this time because you can just reserve your space, with a deposit. And we have an early bird discount for those joining us until February, the end of February this year. You can join us and you get €150 discount off the total package price of this particular 10-day trip in Greece. Again, it's not about the question of whether I can afford it right now. I think the question that we have for you is, do you want to claim the space for yourself? For those women who will join us in Greece, this retreat, it will not just leave you refreshed, having that vacation mode feeling, but you have that clarity, you have that confidence to finally move on and do the next step that you needed to do. And I think that's the real shift that comes from this experience in Greece. So if you are having that feeling that yes, this is for me, but I'm not sure, I want to talk it through first, you can book a 15-minute call with us, with me and Lena, and we'll help you decide clearly whether this journey is for you. Or on the other hand, if you are that lady, that woman who is already sure, you've described me, I needed to do this right now, this is your moment and you're ready to decide, we are including the booking link for you to check the itinerary, the prospectus of the program, and then you'll be able to secure your spot. Either way, please don't let this be another thing that you postpone. Lena and I would love to see you in Greece.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing to hear from you guys. And Maria, I just want to touch on something very, very briefly. You were talking about clarity, and this is what a lot of people are missing right now, like clarity about the direction, about the meaning, and about the purpose. And so they're trying to find clarity from the current state where they are now, and that's not possible because clarity does not come from overthinking. Clarity comes from alignment. Right now, the state you are in, you are operating only from the logical mind, and the logical mind is only remembers the past. That's all you've got, your past data. So how can you look for the future, for the vision, for the clarity of where you're going with the past data? That does not work, and that's what this retreat is for. It will help you to step out of that overthinking, that overanalyzing mode, and really tap into yourself so you can get clarity on your path. So I just wanted to add it because I know you've mentioned the word clarity, and it's just clarity is everything.
And that's the main reason why we want them to experience this trip, right? Because that's what they'll be getting out of from this particular experience, the clarity, the confidence, and to move on to do the next step for their own transformation. So yes, we're excited to have you in Greece, and Lena and I are both available. Again, book a call with us. No commitment, just you can ask us questions, and we'll be gladly answer any questions you may have to get you that clarity.